Hello, everybody, and welcome to this bonus episode of Sneak Attack Podcast, where we are here to talk to you about one of the Volume 2 races, the Brax.
Yeah.
You know the Brax. You should know the Brax well, because that is the race played by our very own Josh Lormer, joining me to my right.
Yep.
And yeah, so what we're going to do is we're just going to have a friendly conversation about it. I have this great grand history written out for this race, but at the same time, I think the best way for you all to discover it and kind of learn more about it is just for Josh and I to chat about it.
Yeah.
And Josh and I sitting down and talking about the show or anything in general really is one of my favorite things in the world. So just the opportunity to do that and hit record again is always welcome. So
same.
That's what we're going to do. First off, how you doing, Josh?
Good, man. I'm like stoked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are 1 week away from season 2 launching.
Oh, holy cow.
Season 2 launches next Friday.
Forget because like we're already 4 episodes in.
Yeah, we're by the time
so like for me season 2 is already in the swing of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
yep. So yeah, by the time episode 1 releases, we'll have recorded 6 episodes of season 2.
Dang.
So we're right in the thick of it. But
that feels good, man.
It does.
Having that kind of backlog.
To be that ahead
like
of it.
Someone could break a leg and we'll be fine.
Well, and also like Danny will have a baby.
Because the show's
soon.
the most important
That's true.
thing.
That's true. Like we'll say cast up, but then get here. No, but Danny's having a baby soon, so it's just good to have that stuff in the bank that you can pull from if you need to.
How many babies have been born since we started this podcast?
4 or 5. 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's why, because like Danny and Mike only had 1 kid when we started, right?
Right,
like,
I think so. And now they both have 2 more, and I have 1. So yeah, that's 5.
Holy moly!
I know.
Jeez.
We can use.
At what point does this become like a very massive part of our life?
Well, are we not there yet?
Okay, I guess we're there. But I'm just thinking in my head like, wow.
Yeah.
Like,
it's great. I actually had lunch with your brother-in-law today.
No way.
I did.
Lance?
One of my favorite people.
He built our game table.
He did.
Anybody who's seen pictures, that's Lance. That's his handiwork.
Yep, that's true. And we met about something handy.
He's a nerd for wood.
Yeah. And we were chatting about like the idea of passing things down to our children because
right on.
He's got a son and I've got a son.
Yeah, Sully. I love that kid.
He's a great kid.
Yeah.
And so we were talking about stuff like that and just like expectations for things like that and of course my son is far too young to have any of those expectations or to even know what any of that stuff is. But you saying like, you know, we've had 5 kids collectively amongst the cast since this thing's been going. How long will this go? It's such a big part of our life. Maybe we just like pass it on to them when we're done.
Holy cow.
It just like becomes their thing.
Once they're like in their like early teens, we give them a sneak attack.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
Holy moly. That would be awesome.
That would imply we're going for far longer than I anticipate, but that's okay.
You're like, oh yeah, we'd already be going for like 2 decades by
like
that
15
point.
years, no big deal.
Yeah.
All right, so like I said, here we are. We're talking about the Brax.
Yeah.
And I've kind of taken the development of every race a little bit differently than I did in Volume 1. Whereas in Volume 1, every race was part of the same period of time that was defined by global events that happened in the world.
So everybody, the biggest differences were how they responded to global events.
Exactly.
So everyone had the same events, but the way that their races like progressed amidst them is what made them different.
Absolutely, yeah. And so much like in Earth, you know, the planet we reside in, we have things like the Renaissance and the medieval era and the modern era and all this stuff because we are all collectively one species going through these things together, displaced different parts of the world, but we're experiencing all those things at the same time.
Right.
Since Volume 2 is many planets operating in many different technological time periods, we can pretty much look at each race, each planet as its own Earth.
Yeah.
So the Brax, for example, have 3 distinct time periods, eras, whatever you want to call them.
And some of the, correct me if I'm wrong, but some of the species are races, they're like, they have almost a galactical history, right?
That is correct, yeah.
There are some that aren't necessarily tied to one specific planet.
That's correct. Yep.
So,
and the Brax are going to have a little bit of that near the end.
For the most part.
Yep.
They all pretty much always call one place home.
That's correct. The Praetorians and the Bacarians are the Turellians are the big one because
very like intergalactic.
Yeah, they don't have a home planet.
Really?
They have a fleet of ships that they travel in.
Did they ever?
They did. We'll find out more about that. Yeah, the Trellians are cool, man. Okay. But the Praetorians are like the Romans, like the Greeks, like these big sprawling empires.
Yeah.
That took over massive amounts of the galaxy very quickly. Mm-hmm. So the Praetorians have a much larger galactic footprint than anyone else, and the Bacarians too, but for different reasons. Okay. But today we're talking about the Brax, and so like I said, I have it broken down into 3 different distinct parts of like their existence. One I just called the birth. One is the secession. And then the final one is the Renaissance, which just means rebirth.
Cool.
So and I know Renaissance is another commonly used thing. So we're just going to talk about all 3 real quick. But before we even talk about the history, we need to know how the Brax operate as a people.
Yes, and societally.
Exactly. And so the Brax are originally from the home planet of theirs called Curtin Kale. Now known as Helios 3. We've talked about it a little bit in the show. The reason for that we'll talk about later, but
kind of different races have different names for different
exactly
planets.
Yep. And so we'll talk about why the name change happened, but if you hear Helios 3 or Curtin Kale, same planet. Mm-hmm. And so Curtin Kale is super diverse. It's a lot like Earth in this regard. It's got forests and tundra and oceans and mountains and deserts and all these different areas.
Got a little bit of everything.
It's not it's a pretty
utopia.
For I think any planet or any species could find a home here.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way this is broken down. But Brax are very unique in that just physiologically they want to stay in one place, but within like within their group of people. Mm. So I guess stay in one place might not be the right way to put it. They're nomadic, but they always like are very clan oriented.
Yeah.
And these
like family groups.
Exactly. Big into family, big into feeling like connected with the people around them,
part of a larger whole.
Exactly.
Yeah.
These clans, they're called sigils. Yes. And on Curtin Kale, as time developed, these 4 sigils kind of rose into power and started dictating kind of like the laws or just society. They were the influencers. They said, you know what, we as this sigil are going to operate this way. They have maybe their own structure or hierarchy within this sigil. And they oftentimes had a thing they focused on primarily above all else. Mm-hmm. And so what's unique about that is all of the sigils are the sub-races for the playable class of the Brax whenever the World Book comes out and you are all able to play as these Volume 2 races and classes. Yeah. So whereas like halflings are like stout or lightfoot in D&D, the sub-races for the Brax are these 4 primary sigils.
Yeah, you got high elves, wood elves, and dark elves.
Exactly. Same exact concept. Yeah. And so the first one is the Sade, which is the sigil of the tundra. And so these are a type of Brax who their whole objective and reason for living is to coexist with the wildlife of the plains and to create that sustainable long-term living.
Very like naturalistic.
Very naturalistic. These are people that only take what they need to.
They use the whole animal.
Use all the buffalo.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah. And so this love of the land, love of nature, this desire to kind of see other wildlife thrive has painted a target on their back a little bit by some of the more warring-oriented Brax clans.
They're kind of like advocates for like, I don't know, treating the earth good. I can't remember what it's called. I know there's like people who care about the environment.
Like environmentalists?
Yes. Yeah. They're kind of like the environmentalists.
Absolutely.
Of the Brax.
Yep. Like if you were to like try to compare them to someone today, these would be like the renewable energy people, the solar powered energy, the people who bring their own like plates and silverware to barbecues so they don't have to use like paper stuff.
That's so interesting because from what we know of the Brax from the show so far, like this is I don't think anyone would have guessed that there was this type of Brax.
That's
because we've kind of granted Lucky tries to put on a very like calm, collected demeanor in his voice and tone, but we know that that's not him. You know what I mean? Dude loses it at a trip of a hat.
Right.
So like
especially
in season 2, but yes, like it's not hard to rile him up.
Yeah.
But these guys don't sound like they're like easily riled. Like,
no, this is the last group of any of the primary houses to ever want to go to combat, ever want to like create conflict. They're all about cohabitating peacefully and not leaving like a detrimental footprint to wherever they've been.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I really like that.
But again, I said it kind of makes them a target of certain sigils, and the Daglar, the sigil of the mountains, those are like the primary antagonizers of the Brax on Curtin Kale.
That's Lucky, right?
That just happens to be Lucky's sub race.
Yeah. And
So they're like sigil of the mountains. They're up in these high Dagon peaks, not Dagon, just
that's the name.
Dagon peaks.
Dagon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Similar to Daglar, yeah.
So they're growing up in like rocky,
exactly,
unforgiving terrain.
Exactly. And so I kind of have it written down that like people sometimes attribute just the unforgiving nature of their environment as kind of like cultivating this unforgiving spirit within them.
Yeah.
I don't really think there's anything to that. I think this is kind of like Braxian lore. Kind of like how we have stereotypes for for like other like geographic regions in the United States.
It doesn't mean that they can't be compassionate.
Exactly, and I think Lucky's shown that.
Yeah.
But these were always the primary antagonizers. They were the first to go down and really assert their dominance in the plains of below their mountains and really try and spread that influence.
Do you think it was like out of greed or like our anger or like? Was it more just like this is what we're meant to do?
I honestly do think it was just like there's land to be had. They moved down the mountains and saw these plains with all of these animals, all these resources, and they said, "This is just ours for the taking." Like, why wouldn't we?
A little bit like the Mongols. Like we can and so we will.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't call it like a religious mission, holy mission, or anything like not like a crusade. Really, just said. Why not?
Yeah,
it's here.
It's like, hey, it's not you. It's just us. Yeah, but like we're gonna do this.
Yep. And so that's the Daglar. Third is the Orman, which is the sigil of the forest. And so these guys are what I call like they're the get stuff done type of Brax.
Okay.
These are the people who, despite living in kind of like this dense forest without a lot of resources outside of trees, they were able to develop really intelligent and really forward-thinking societal goals and societal plans.
Okay.
They were the first to kind of like start their own version of a like a democracy government, complete with commerce. They created these major trade routes between the other sigils, and the forest actually ended up becoming more of a strategic resource to them, as well as I guess. A resource for like other materials like wood for them to build their stuff. Like,
sure, yeah.
So as
did they actually have cities?
I wouldn't call them cities, like townships, communities, that kind of thing. I think it started probably just like as one nomadic tribe that realized where they were, planned themselves, and just kind of expanded out. But as they expanded and explored, they found these other sigils along the way and developed relationships with them and said, "Hey, we have wood, we have X resources, you have this, let's make a deal."
Interesting.
Whereas the Daglar would be like, "You have this, it's mine now."
Yeah. It's interesting. I like the order that you're outlining these because I feel like we got like two, and I know we're not done because there's still one more, but we got like two extremes, and then this one that's like not going to be extreme, Like it almost sounds like the reason that the gosh darn it, the Sade and the Daglar. It sounds almost like part of the reason they got in trouble is because they both just were like, this is what's right and this is wrong.
Right.
It's like I would imagine like the Sade looked at the Daglar as like brutes and monsters, and the Daglar looked as the Sade as like weak, pathetic.
Exactly. They're like lesser forms of Brax.
Right. But the Orman looked at both of them and like, okay, this is a payday. Like either of them. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, we can do something you need.
And I think their unique positioning was to be able to observe that and say like they could almost like salesman type, ambassador types. They can like pinpoint exactly your personality type and figure out how to exploit that. Yeah. Not necessarily in like a negative way, just for like profit.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's the neutral. Like
these guys were totally neutral.
Yeah.
And then you have finally the Gaul, and this is the sigil of the sea. and these are super isolated Brax. They like choose to live in isolation, out of the way of pretty much anything or an easy access point from anyone else. So they live on the western coast of this of their kingdom in Curtin Kale, and they established these research stations that were dedicated to further understanding the planet and the system it's a part of. So these are the dreamers. These are the Brax that looked up and thought, "What if?"
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Like the scientists and
absolutely. So
the astrologists.
Yep, they were the most interested astronomists.
What?
Astrologists is the zodiac stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
It's fine, but like
Astronomist?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Star people.
Star people. And so yeah, these guys were interested in space, flight.
How many times have I said the wrong word?
Oh, just like in casual conversation?
In my head, yeah. I have no idea.
You've got people
I
thinking
literally
you're
couldn't
like,
tell you right now which one is the right one. I have them both in my head, and I still can't delineate between the two, even though you just told me.
Hey.
That's amazing.
that is pretty funny.
How stupid I must have looked to some people. Okay, sorry. Keep going.
Like, hey man, yeah, did you see there's a meteor shower last night? I love astrology.
That's the wrong one.
That's the wrong one.
Astronomy. All right. In my head, I was going, it's astrology. And then
I'm 75%, 20% sure it's astrology.
sorry. Okay.
That's funny.
So somebody hit me up with a mnemonic device, please.
Oh, that's a long word for a mnemonic device.
Yeah.
I mean, you want non-alphabetical because I think astral comes before astron. Yeah, it does. Not whatever one is last in the alphabet.
I gotta.
That's not going to help you.
I gotta sing the whole alphabet song
Yeah,
in
I
order
know,
to figure it out.
There's like a 15-second pause. You want to go to the planetarium and learn more about
Astronomy. All right, what were we talking about?
That's funny. So that's the Gaul. They are they are the explorers. They are the dreamers. They are the people who just want to do more. So
I read all of these before we created our characters.
Yep.
And I wouldn't pick a different one for Lucky. I love that he's a Daglar.
Daglar, yep.
Daglar. But like every time I'm going through all these, I'm like, oh my gosh, it'd be so much fun to play that. Like I keep just thinking like, I want to be a sea guy. Like I want to like, I'm like, they're so cool. These are all great, man.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
I love this. The more we dig into this world of like this universe, the more I'm like, gosh, this is something really good. Like I'm so excited.
There's a lot here. There's a lot to dig through for sure. So kind of the way I was approaching this too is because just of the way the Brax are fundamentally, all Brax, regardless of where they come from, they don't work together very well.
Yeah.
They just inherently don't. The Orman, they try their best, but I think
it's like at a distance. It's like arm's length.
It is. It is at arm's length. And I think that mentality has always kept them behind technologically everyone else. And even without knowing it, because for the longest time, the Brax thought they were the only the only species in the universe, and they were the only planet like that was that had intelligent life. And then all of a sudden the world got turned upside down and they realized we're not even close technologically to where these other people are. Yeah. But we'll get there. So
but it's that inability to really unite as a planet.
Exactly. So the first era, this what I call the birth phase, this lasts for almost 800 years, a little over 800 years. This mentality of keeping to oneself, but like the whole while the clan is moving around looking for some spot to settle down, or just like a more call to adventure.
Yeah. Would you say it's in this like first age or era that these four sigils kind of defined themselves?
Absolutely.
And can I ask a detailed question?
That's why you're here.
Okay. Were there more sigils? These are just the four that really took over.
That's correct. There are, probably hundreds of small sigils that represent the Brax culture.
That's cool.
But these are the four that like rose to prominence and really represent their specific interests within the community.
They're the most of note.
Yep.
Cool.
So, anywho.
Or playable.
Yeah. They're the playable ones.
Yeah.
So, for most of this era, I would say probably several hundred years, these sigils were unaware of the other's existence. They kind of just stayed in their own spot. They did their own thing. But then as soon as the Orman were like sending out explorers and tradesmen and people tasked with establishing these contacts and like trying to map out the world, that's when they learned about many of these other sigils that were living nearby. And so the Daglar kind of used this to their advantage because they discovered, oh, hey, we're not the only guys here. There's a whole host of opportunities out there for us to go claim.
Yeah.
And so almost immediately after this occurred, the Daglar just went on almost like a warpath. They used these charts and maps and trade routes that the Orman had established and said, yes, please.
Yeah.
Thank you for giving us free entry into all this new territory. We're going to go conquer it now.
Right.
And so for about 200 years during this this birth of the Brax, they were just at war with each other. They established almost no new technology, no new societal efforts or advancements. They were really just like stuck in this era of combat and regression and just anger for a really, really long time. And for 200 years, that's about half of a Brax's life.
Would you say that, like, in a way, the Daglar being the way they are almost kind of forced the rest of the Brax to be more aggressive? Like,
for sure.
On the defensive.
I would say that for sure.
Maybe without that kind of initial push of like, hey, we're going to take over everything.
Yep.
Because I imagine, even though like the Sade, you know what I mean, are like peaceful, quote unquote, I bet they're still able to kind of hold their own to some degree.
Well, yeah, I mean, living on the land the way they do, definitely.
Yeah.
They are a tough people, despite them not wanting to like create conflict with anybody.
Right.
But they know how to take care of themselves.
Like farmers. Like it's like you do not just randomly start a fight with the farmer.
I think that's exactly how like the American Revolution, like we were just farmers going up against the military. And that was it. Yeah.
Like
so
bringing hard-working, strong people whose skin is made of literal leather.
Yeah,
like they're just like
you don't pick a fight with them.
You do not. No,
seems silly. So after just all this time, all this battle and warring that was going on, a Brax chieftain by the name of Seth Cattleback.
Seth Cattleback.
Seth with an F.
Seth. Oh yes.
Seth.
Yeah.
Cattleback.
Yes.
He's a Brax chieftain for the Sade.
Okay.
He steps forward and he vows to unite the Brax under one banner.
Ooh.
He kind of steps forward, and it makes sense that it's a Sade, a guy that sees the value in all life. He doesn't just want to extinguish the Daglar. He said, no, they have value.
Yeah.
We can figure this out, how to work together.
Maybe even has some Daglar friends. Like he's like, it's cool, guys.
Like, I'm friends with the Daglar. Sure. But he kind of writes up this plan and proposal for all of the sigils to share resources and research with each other, because he's realizing for these 200 years we're stagnant as a people.
Yeah.
And the only way to get past this plateau that they're living on is to do it through uniting and through sharing technology, sharing resources, and sharing research. And as a kind of like a show of good faith, in this proposal, he offers up a portion of the Sade territory to the Daglar. He's even people who like came through and like pillaged his land early on.
Yeah, it's like a show of good faith.
Yeah, he said, "Hey, no hard feelings. We could very easily not want to do this, but because I believe so much in this proposal, in this plan, I will give you the entry point to your mountain range as kind of your territory to work and to manage and to raise whatever you want on."
Yeah.
And there were a lot of Sade who didn't like that.
Sure.
A lot of Sade, because they thought they just abused the land that they were entrusted with.
Right.
But ultimately, that is the olive branch that ended up putting this civil war to rest, and he ended up uniting all of the clans together. And so for nearly half a century, Seth and his this kind of like democracy, not really democracy, more just like established government, established rule, lived and prospered.
Really? It actually worked.
It did for a very long time,
dude.
And so that leads us to the secession, which is a very short, brief period in Braxian history, because as with anything, someone rises to power and says they have a grand plan to make everyone live peacefully together and work together and share everything for the common good. There are people that come along and fundamentally disagree with that.
Right.
That's there are people that don't want to share. They don't believe the other people are deserving of whatever it is they're providing.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes.
Yep.
And so there were some that saw this attempt to unify everyone as like a thinly veiled attempt to get citizens to drop their guard. He thought that Seth was actually weakening the Brax resolve by forcing everyone to like hold hands and play together.
That following him would actually do the opposite of what he said it would.
Precisely.
Do. Yeah.
So these are kind of like, I would call these like fundamentalist Brax. Like
it's through our primal
makes us better that makes us better by being the most self-reliant, by being the toughest, by being the strongest.
That's how we'll grow and thrive as a society.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not by being weak and holding four arms together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, these thoughts just kind of grew into anger, which then grew into hatred, and this desire to see Seth and his like legacy pay for his inability to adequately lead the people, quote unquote. So a rogue group of Braxian extremists, they call themselves the Sethleek. They organized the murder of the like acting chieftain during the 49th anniversary celebration of the unification.
Do they have his name in their name?
What do you mean?
He's Seth, right?
Yes.
And they're Sethleek?
They are.
I'm intrigued.
Okay.
Is there a purpose in that?
There might be.
Okay.
I'll tell you this. All of the languages or like the names of each thing for each race are based off of one originating language. Okay. So I've said this on the podcast before, but like the Ardent, all of their stuff is based on Latin phrases. There is one that's like all based on Greek too. I think Praetorians are all like based on like Greek as their origin.
It's like Viking or like Norse or
it is. Oh, I totally had it, then I just lost it. Turkish, I think.
Oh, okay.
I think it's Turkish. Actually, the word curtain kale in Turkish means lizard.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I changed the spelling a bit and put an apostrophe in there just for flair.
Yeah,
but I think in Turkish it's curtain kale.
Okay.
Is how you say lizard.
Nice.
Because I thought they kind of looked like big Gila monsters. So.
Yeah, they actually do. It looks like a humanized or like a what do you call it?
Anthropomorphic, lizard.
Yeah. Anthropological.
Astrological.
All right, continue. Please.
Okay, so the leadership, the people that were running this unification, running this collective empire, they're all poisoned during this feast, during this celebration.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So they all
like
got
a red
murdered.
wedding moment.
Very much so. But this plunged the Brax into a state of total confusion, total disarray. They'd been operating for so long under this concept of sharing and prosperity and peace and stuff like that, that all of a sudden to have someone come in and disrupt all that, no one really knew what to do.
Yeah. And
so small battles broke out between all the major sigils, each accusing like each other of being the cause, because all of a sudden everyone's like, well, wait a minute, like this guy or this group over here, they kind of believe this. I bet if you think about it, like they just kept creating their own narrative.
And there's not just one leadership vacuum. There's like a bunch of leadership
multiples.
Vacuums.
Yep. So okay, yeah. So the Said, the Orman, and the Daglar, they just blew into full blown conflict for 12 years. The Gaul, again, they stayed out of it.
They're like, peace.
Yeah, they're like, we on the coast, we're over here looking up. You guys can just do your own thing.
Forget this.
Yeah, yeah. Literally, they just like, this ain't worth it. And so, again, after almost half a century of being at peace and knowing prosperity, they were plunged back into conflict for a short period of time. But it did not last very long because they were visited at that point by an off-world Turellian ambassador.
Now, for my imagination here, what level of technology did the Brax have by the time that this happened?
I would call this probably like.
Is there electricity?
Steam. I'd say like steam power.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is like they're gonna have really capable boats. Like the Gaul are gonna have really capable boats. They're gonna have I'd say they're right on the cusp of like an industrial revolution type of thing.
Gotcha.
And if we waited probably another 100, 200 years, we'd probably get to the point where they had some
conflict probably kept it from getting like really much further. Probably some great advancements in like farming and like agriculture, I would bet.
Yes.
But, yeah.
The Sade were the first very early on to realize that you can use animal power that is way more efficient and effective than human power. So like the Sade are excellent farmers. They've always been great at that. And so they're developing technology to improve that process and keep it sustainable for centuries.
Yeah.
But a Trellian ambassador in a spaceship lands on their planet. It's effectively like we get visited by aliens in the year 1700.
Right.
It's just like, okay,
well, yeah.
What do we like? We kind of know what that means now because we have space flight of our own. But like when you don't even understand the concept of leaving, like getting 50 feet off the ground, let alone leaving atmosphere, let alone knowing what atmosphere is.
Yeah.
Like, so all of a sudden, boom, this Torellian ambassador by the name of June Mentoso shows up, and they represent the interests of some Praetorians. And
was there a rule about not engaging with non-galactic civilizations at the time?
So
I know I'm jumping out of the Brax a little bit.
You are a little bit. The TU was, I would call, very early stages, like infancy at this time.
Okay.
So much like the Federation and Star Trek,
yes,
they don't have. They didn't quite have everything worked out
right away.
To know like, hey, we probably shouldn't mess with like.
That's technology always beats ethics. Like that's kind of the way it works.
Yeah. Well, and it's like you'll figure out very early that the Praetorians lack almost any ethics altogether.
Okay.
So, not to bury the lead, but that's the Praetorians are not great people historically.
And they're the blue tattoos.
They're correct. Yep. They're the very tall, very strong blue guys with body markings.
Yeah.
So the Trellian shows up claiming to represent the interests of another alien species called the Praetorians.
Yeah.
And this sudden knowledge, not only one but two different alien species coming in some fancy tin can, like it just totally blew their mind. And so this puts the war between the sigils on like a temporary hold.
Right.
We've got bigger fish all of a sudden, and so the Trellian landed in Gaul territory since they were not actively involved, and the Praetorians. They reveal to the Brax that the Praetorians have discovered the secrets of faster than light travel. That's how this ship was able to get here.
Take you outside your own planet.
Yeah, all this stuff. And so, and they wanted to share that information with the Brax in exchange for the exclusive rights to mine Curtin Kale for minerals and resources on their homeworld.
Right, stuff that they probably
didn't even know they had.
Weren't even aware of.
Yep. The Brax, for all their skills elsewhere, they never really knew to look down,
right,
or even what they were looking at if they were looking there.
If they found it, like they wouldn't necessarily, they didn't necessarily know how to use it.
Exactly. So the Praetorians uniquely suited. That's just their gifting, is to know how to work with the ground, specifically underground minerals and materials. And so the Praetorians had been probing Curtin Kale from a distance, trying to get like density measurements and readouts and stuff like that. Discovered that it was rich with minerals that they wanted.
Yeah.
And so they sent a Torellian to negotiate this arrangement for them. And so the Brax were hesitant at first, naturally. A lot of them claimed they had no interest or need for these interplanetary pursuits. But the prospect of expanding beyond the confines of Curtin Kale and like claiming new territory was almost like the gold rush for them.
Right.
And just like, wait a minute, like,
we're just fighting over the scraps.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, we're fighting each other over like this, which is great, but we could each have our own planet.
Right.
Like all these new possibilities were opening up for them. And so because of that, they deemed it too good to pass up, and an agreement was formed. The Praetorian mining vessels landed on Curtin Kale the following week. Like they were just in orbit waiting for the papers to get signed. Yeah. And then boom, they just show up and like everything changed seemingly overnight for the Brax.
I kind of imagine like if it came to a vote, if each of the Brax had like each of the sigils had like one vote. In my head, I imagine it was like the Daglar and the Orman Orman, that were like, yes, please, let's do this.
Yeah.
And then the Sade were like, no, I don't want to do this. And the Gaul were like, we don't care. Just don't mess with us.
The Gaul, I think, are actually the most interested.
Really?
Because they were the ones always looking to space, always looking.
That's right.
They're always just wanting to explore anyway.
So it's like one's interested because of trade.
Yep.
One's interested because of power.
Yep.
And one's interested because of science.
Scientific pursuits.
And knowledge.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting.
And so I think the Gaul were almost like Brax advocates for the Praetorians at this point. They're like, how could we say no? Like we've been building research stations and telescopes and things trying to learn more about this, and we're handed the keys to it.
Yeah.
How could we possibly say no to it? And so the Praetorians actually worked with the Gaul to kind of get them up to speed on spaceflight. So the Gaul were almost like an emissary for the rest of the Brax to be like, hey, we're learning so much about how space works and physics and all this stuff. We can help share with all of you guys, and then you can go wherever you want.
Right.
And so after this discovery, the infighting between the Brax just seemed less important than it originally was. And so the tribes agreed to a truce with the understanding that they would all explore different off-world territories and settle their own planets.
Yeah.
Leaving each other free to operate it how they see fit. No more of this, well, you have land I want, you have animals I want, resources, whatever. Just go and do your thing. Mm-hmm. And so at first, this is over the course of several years.
I'm guessing like the Sade probably just wanted to stay. They wanted to maintain the place they were given.
Exactly. And they're very for the thought of a nomad lifestyle and kind of like uprooting yourself didn't feel like anything to them. That's probably the hardest for the Sade. Yeah. Even though I think they would still ultimately choose whatever path meant the least harm to the planet or to the environment. I still think for them, like, Curtain Kale is home. Yeah. And they want to protect and make sure that home is taken care of for a long time. Right. And so they stayed behind, but at first only a few, of the smaller sigils, like clans that are wanting to make a name for themselves, to put themselves on the same platform as the Orman, as the Gaul. Yeah. They were the first to leave. And this is after probably 5-10 years of research and development and working with the Praetorians to develop these technologies. But after reports of their success came pouring in, all of a sudden, now we have to. So all these other clans that were kind of on the fence, hesitant about it, they jumped in with both feet. Okay. Said, we're in this, let's do it. Yeah. And so...
In for a penny, in for a pound.
I don't actually know what that saying means, but I assume you're on the right track.
Yeah, it's like if you're gonna dip your toes in the water, just jump in.
Oh, okay. Yeah. A pound being British. Yes. Not weight. Yeah. That I just made that connection. But a penny's American. Why didn't they say pence?
I don't know, man, because I have no. Maybe it is.
Or a quid. No, a quid is a pound. That's just slang for a buck.
No idea.
I don't know. That's weird.
I mean, it
combines
it rolls on the tongue.
It does.
That's the deal. It's the phrase.
Does. So for the next several decades, Praetorian miners pretty much had full reign of Curtain Kale. Only a couple. The Sade was the largest by far of the sigils to stick around, and only a couple smaller ones stuck around with them. So they pretty much could do whatever they want. But over the course of that time, they more or less hollowed out the core of Curtain Kale.
The Praetorians
did. They stayed out of the Sade territory. The Sade said, "You're not allowed in our land. Yeah. You never will be." But the Sade knew that was really the only part of Curtain Kale that they could protect anymore. Yeah. Was the stuff that they had agreed to specifically in that agreement. And so,
still kind of it's kind of cruddy because the Praetorians know what they're doing.
Oh, 100%.
They know the larger ecological after effects of what they're doing.
100%.
But the Sade have no idea. They're these things are below the ground. They don't affect trees. They don't affect grass. They don't affect atmosphere. They would have no idea. And so it's such a jerk.
It is
thing to do.
It's the equivalent of trading land for beads and feathers.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So after all these years of mining and pretty much strip mining the planet, started developing all these massive earthquakes and sinkholes started swallowing up entire communities. Just villages and towns that have been entrenched in this planet for centuries are just gone. And the planet was growing increasingly unstable. environmentally, socially. There were small pockets of uprising, like trying to force the Praetorians off planet. And finally, at like the behest of one of the Praetorian ambassadors on site, they kind of convinced everyone, like, we got to get out of here, otherwise we're not leaving with our lives, type of thing. The violence was getting so bad that all of the excavators, all the miners, they packed up and they pieced out before the unrest got unmanageable. And so members of the Gaul, they had already announced that they were planning on evacuating Curtin Kale and searching for a new homeworld. So at that point, they just made like a plea to everyone who remained, said, listen, the planet is in such bad shape right now. We've let it get so rotten from the inside out. We need to go.
Yeah.
And so what few Gaul remained said, just pleading with everyone else, we have to do this.
Yeah.
And so several other sigils finally agreed. And all in all, like 50 ships left Curtin Kale with sights set on other systems. The thing is, a lot of these Brax were looking for systems that had direct ties to Praetorians. They weren't necessarily looking for uninhabited planets to go and explore and settle down on.
Interesting.
Some of these guys wanted revenge.
Okay.
So
there's this quote in the book I just read. I don't remember the quote exactly, but the general idea is, it is wise to fear the anger of a calm man. Like when you make like someone who doesn't get angry, be afraid.
Yeah.
And in my mind, like the Sade have been like the level head throughout that entire history. All those years that we just went through, they did everything they could to try and maintain peace, to like establish order and unity. And then it all finally led to this. And it's like,
and it had to be the thing that would like take them to the breaking point of the thing they fought so hard to keep intact falling apart, literally under their feet.
Their like sacred ground was completely defiled.
And that's kind of what set them over the edge. And so that takes us into the final era, the current era of the Brax that we're calling the Renaissance. And it seems like a strange thing to call it at first, but it does make sense when you hear how it finally like gets us to the present day.
Yeah.
So once the Brax left their home system, many of them, because most of who remained were Sade, they just expanded to conquer.
Really?
As many planets as they could find.
Yeah.
Each new system for them just was like a battlefield for a Braxian people who were just filled to the brim with anger and rage and hatred.
I'm sure that like you saw a lot of the sigils doing the same.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I think the Daglar probably would have done that from the beginning.
Right.
Like, hey, we're here, now flex on them.
Yeah. But now it's like they have like a like almost more noble reason.
Yeah, and I feel like that's even like a scarier prospect is when you have like if you fight just to fight, it's like you might back down, when things get tough.
Yeah.
But when you fight because you feel like your back's against the wall.
Yeah. And
you've been slighted on a deep personal level.
Yeah.
Like that's again someone to be afraid of.
So like an actual in Sun Tzu, one of the things, The Art of War, one of the things he talks about is that you never want your enemy to know that they're going to lose. You want them to think they can win the entire time.
Yeah.
Because the most dangerous enemy is the one that
has nothing to lose.
Sees their defeat. Yeah. And then they're like, okay, well, we're going to hurt you as hard as we can.
Yeah.
And like,
totally throw their own safety into the wind.
Yeah.
Just to inflict mass casualties.
Yep.
So this went on for a long time. The Brax conquered and moved from planet to planet, just asserting their dominance, their prowess for combat for 300 years. They just systematically...
Holy moly.
Oh, yeah.
So even though they weren't like intergalactic, they became like a name.
Well, and the Praetorians were like the arbiters of their own demise kind of thing. Because it's like, no one knew what the Brax were really capable of.
There's like, it's dirt people. They're just like,
they're still fighting with sticks.
On the earth and da-da-da. Yeah, they're not like...
And so they thought it was no big deal, but they gave them the keys to the car and said... Go nuts.
Right.
And then they unknowingly unleashed the Brax like a virus on the entire system, the entire galaxy. And so, yeah, for 300 years, they're just going planet to planet, overthrowing colonial settlements, surrounding systems, just laying waste, and then just like staying put. Like, this is ours now.
Like seeing their ship is like seeing the boogeyman. Like you just like
I just imagine it's like a pirate vessel on the sea, just
and
like
it's like, oh,
there's nothing we can do. I see it coming and I can't outrun it. So, the Brax, again, very intelligent when it comes to combat. They know exactly how to strategically and quickly overthrow a group of people. In terms of excelling, or in terms of like maintaining the property they've gotten, not so good. So while as they were conquering all these planets, they realized that they had to manage multiple fronts across numerous planets, and that just became too much for them to manage like strategically.
They were like butter. Spread across too much bread.
Too much bread. What is that from?
It's from Lord of the Rings. I can't remember which one.
Oh, you're right.
I think it's like the King or something.
I think it's Return of the King. Yeah. That's Sam, right?
Somebody. It's somebody who's feeling weak or something.
I forgot. But like butter spread over too much bread. Maybe you could have figured out a better metaphor there.
I was gonna say, I'm just looking at. I know this is a bit of an aside, but you mentioned like how they actually like were intelligent to some degree. I love that in the art we have these two kind of pictures. Mm-hmm. We have the kind of like just standing Brax with his hands together, and his face is very intelligent looking. Like it looks like a smart,
right?
Like there's intelligence in the eyes. You know what I mean? And then you see this kind of crazy, wild, like roaring version, and you wouldn't think like, oh, this is a very intelligent creature necessarily. Right. It's like that duality of kind of like flipping the switch.
Yeah. And if you want to see that art, you can go to sneakpodcast.com under the Volume 2 blog, and that's available.
I'm very impressed. I think you've created very fun races, and I feel like Adam's done a really good job of kind of fleshing them out and bringing them to life. Like, this is hard. Having a kind of almost bestial race have intelligence. You know what I mean? Like, that's a very difficult thing to do, and I don't think you see it happen a whole lot. It's still hard, I think, for a lot of D&D artists to make orcs look like anything other than just
monsters.
Angry monsters. Right, yeah.
I was really impressed for all the faults that the World of Warcraft movie had. I was really impressed just like the ability,
the character.
Yeah, that Duncan Jones was able to make me feel for the orcs.
Yeah,
I cared about them way more than I cared about the others. Like, but okay. Anyways, wrapping this up. Yeah, we're almost about to land this plane. So they started losing battles on all these different fronts because they were stretched so thin, and they didn't have the manpower to maintain control over all of these planets that they conquered. And so eventually they get to a planet that is it is a Praetorian settled, galactically recognized as belonging to the Praetorians, landed there, started going crazy. That alerted the Turian Union, which is the galactic governing body.
Yeah.
And that's when the TU said, we'll get involved if you don't settle down. And they've got far more military prowess, far more supplies, far more resources, and
like you've officially gotten our attention.
Yeah, exactly. And so the Turian Union got involved, and they said, "Hey, we understand. Like there were people arbitrating for both sides. They said we understand what happened. That's a crappy thing, and we're gonna correct it. But you've got to pull back all of your occupation on all these other planets and go home. Otherwise, we're just gonna wipe you out.
Yeah,
like we have no qualms against that.
Yep.
And I think the Brax finally in this moment, like realizing, there's always a bigger fish kind of thing. They reluctantly agreed, and so under the condition that they are now a sovereign species within the Turian Union, they allowed the Turian Union to plant their government within the Brax people. So now they are considered like in the United Nations. There's like sovereign nations and stuff like that. Now the Brax are part of that community of people.
Yeah,
which means it's good for everyone, because now there's oversight to make sure that the Brax don't get way too big and try and go on a galaxy overthrow again.
Right.
But also the most beneficial thing to the Brax is they've got resources to help them grow technologically and with trade and with e-commerce or with commerce and all this stuff to help them just like get up to speed with the rest of the galaxy.
Yeah.
So whereas the Praetorians wanted nothing but their own personal gain from it, and they made billions off of this planet.
Right.
The Turian Union just literally wants to help them.
Right.
And to create parity amongst all the races that they represent. So the Brax agreed. They joined the Turian Union. They're a sovereign system. But in the process of becoming the sovereign system, since it was the Praetorians who were a sovereign species already that discovered their system and started like stuck their claim to it,
right?
They got to name it as it entered the Turian oversight. So because the Brax, the center of the Brax solar system it's not a single star like in the Milky Way, like our solar system. It's two binary stars that orbit each other. And so the Praetorians,
that's awesome.
It's very cool. The Praetorians saw that and decided to call it the Helios system.
Oh, that makes sense.
Helios just means sun.
Yeah.
And so they thought it was unique that this had two suns, two stars, and so they called it the Helios system. But the Praetorians are also not very good at naming beyond that. So every planet in the Helios system is Helios 1, Helios 2, Helios 3, Helios 4, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So Kurt and Kale became Helios 3, tying back to that original conversation. That's why Helios 3 and Kurt and Kale, the same planet, interchangeable names. But since Helios 3 is now completely unsafe to actually occupy, they had to relocate to a different planet within the Helios system called Helios 5, which was formerly known as Curtin Shoal.
Okay.
And remember, Helios 4 is the all plants planet. It tried to kill all you guys when you went there.
That's right. Yes.
Helios 5, very, very cold. It's on one of the most outlying orbits in the system.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So even
it doesn't get a lot of that heat from the.
It doesn't get a lot of heat from the suns, and they are cold-blooded people, so they need that heat. So with the help of the Turian Union, they actually thinned the atmosphere a little bit to try and let more sun through. But you'll oftentimes see the Brax walk around in like parkas and warm clothing, because where most people would be like, this is comfortable, it's still too cold for them.
Yeah.
So, but
now
now
I'm sure there's seasons.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
there are seasons, but it's still, since their orbit is so big, it's
nothing like their perfect planet that they had before.
More than anything, the Brax want to go home.
Yeah, but there's no home left.
There's nothing left for them there. So efforts have been started by the Turian Union to kind of try and rebuild, to reverse the effects of the strip mining. But as of right now, in present day, Helios 3 is still uninhabitable.
Yeah.
And so it seems like a weird thing to call this section the Renaissance, but I call it the rebirth because it really almost just like resets the Brax people back to zero. And it allows them to discover who they are as a people again.
Culturally, very much
Culturally,
so. Yeah.
Societally, all the while getting assistance from the outside to help elevate and speed that process along. So the Brax as a society are now learning again how to coexist with each other,
right? And
how to work together.
Yeah.
But now there's this galactic oversight to make sure things don't go crazy again. So that was my thought process.
That's
for
really
calling
cool.
it the Renaissance. And
did it? I know I'm probably pushing time by asking questions.
Oh, you're okay.
But
that's I wanted you here.
Cool. Did all that intergalactic travel? Because I'm imagining 300 years, right? That's multiple generations of Brax, right? How long do they live?
400 years.
Okay. So that's at least 2 generations,
right? Yep.
So there were probably like a fair amount of Brax that came to Helios 5 that were never
been in the Helios system.
The Helios system.
Yep.
So there's probably some that just decided not even to go.
Yeah.
They were just like, I prefer space stuff. I don't want to do it. And there were some that were probably like, I'm tired of space stuff. Like, I want something else.
Like they're on the end of their life.
Yeah. Or even just like sick of like what their parents had done. Like the whole like, conquest and all that. There were probably some that were like, even some like probably with some Sade in them that were like, I want to settle. You know what I mean? Like I want to like...
And that's kind of how I justify seeing Brax outside of the Helios system now. It's like in that moment when the Turian Union said, you have to evacuate, you have to give up your control. It's like, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Yeah.
So most of the Brax decided to go home, quote unquote, back to their system. But the rest of them just said, I'll just settle down somewhere.
Yeah. Do they have a representative in the Terran Union?
They do, yeah. So every sovereign race has an ambassador, an elected official that speaks on their behalf within like I don't necessarily have like a terminology for it, but just like the Terran Union Council, like all of the races that get together and decide on how the government will move and transition and act on certain information, and then all of the species are represented to hopefully
plead their case.
Yeah, act in the best interest of their people.
Yeah. So Curtin Sol? Shoal.
Yep.
Curtin Shoal. The Brax, I would imagine, just with all the travel and everything like that, like the sigils probably got a little like mixed, you know what I mean, or like just muddied, not to like make it sound bad, but like you're going all about like probably in smaller groups than some of the like big sigils were on Curtin Kale. Did they end up redefining their sigils on Curtin? I'm sure
there are smaller sigils that rose and fell and are probably lost to like the passages of time type of thing.
Yeah.
But these 4 defining sigils have stayed pretty constant.
Okay. Even throughout the conquest part.
Yeah. I think like Lucky is a great example of that, because like if you just look at the early Braxian history, you think like, oh, the Daglar are just like purely combat focus and and conquer and siege and blah blah blah. But I think probably as a result of all of that cohabitation together, mixing, like going out to different planets and then intermingling with the other sigils, realizing that you can be a Daglar, you can represent those ideals without being like a warlord.
Yeah.
And I think that fits Lucky very well.
Cool. I dig that. So they're a little more unified now.
Certainly now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like against the rest of the world.
Yeah. So I would say like as it stands now, modern present day, like the Brax are strong. They certainly aren't going to
start like conquesting.
Yeah. I don't think anyone is really worried about that right now.
Yeah.
I guess they probably should be, but like not in like any real like
just because they were a small
threat level, like, midnight kind of thing. Yeah.
Galactically small race.
Yeah.
Like they had one planet and they went and just wreaked havoc.
Yeah. And no one had ever spread that quickly that fast.
Yeah.
But again, it's this, you gave someone with all this bottled up anger the keys to the kingdom.
Like the most gritty driven like species.
So, but I think there's probably a lot of like still deep rooted pain that exists within the Brax.
Gosh, how could there
of just like feeling like mistreated and abused?
Yeah.
Especially by the Praetorians. So like it's very uncommon for Brax and Praetorians to like each other, like or to be friends. And I think a lot of Praetorians, even like we're pretty far removed present day from when all that happened, but I think like just ingrained within society, a Praetorian would almost be like, oh yeah, like sorry bro, like I didn't do it, but you know they got Praetorian guilt.
Yeah. Like typically that's their response.
Yeah.
That like the Brax typically don't like Praetorians. That Praetorians are typically kind of afraid of Brax.
Yeah.
I'm interested. This is so funny, man. You don't have this written in here anywhere, but part of me so badly wants to play like a lost sigil. Like I want to like the last like living like heir to a sigil that's completely gone. Like that would be so much fun. This is just such a great.
Just define your own. It's a Build-A-Bear.
There's so much history.
Build a sigil.
Yeah. But like that's so cool. Like that actually could happen. Like we could run into someone like that. Like that's so wild. The amount of like character and like depth you can have like with all this history.
Yeah.
So cool, man. Like I am pumped.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And like I felt very strongly that I needed to do something like this, and especially in between seasons, it just worked out really well. But
you've put so much thought into this.
A lot. Like it's a lot.
This is nuts. Like that's why I'm having a hard time like processing it all, because I'm like, gosh, there's so much story here. Like, I want to write a comic book. I want to write a short story. I want to there's so many characters that like need to be.
Hey, if anyone wants to do that,
like had here,
feel free.
This is awesome.
And ultimately, like that's the goal. It's no secret. We want to make a world book, and we want to be able to put like this type of content in your hands.
Yeah.
And so, with D&D, traditional D&D, all of the like everyone knows how dwarves are, everyone knows how elves are, but like
you establish kind of the base.
But everyone with all of this is just so new. I felt like I really needed to get into the weeds a little bit to help reinforce these ideas.
Yeah.
Because when we're playing and you might see like a snide remark fire off between a Praetorian and a Brax or something like that, like in the moment it makes no sense. It's like, well, like what did that guy do to him?
Right.
But now just because I've had this written since before we ever started recording Volume 2, period.
Yeah.
And so now there's like provide this context and provide this groundwork for anyone to jump in and say like, ooh, now I can expand on this idea and my whole story can be centered on this conflict or this whatever they want to do. And really just put all the freedom into the player's hands at that point.
And it kind of makes you wonder why Lucky's always so friendly with Praetorians.
That there is actually a reason for that.
That should be odd.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Now with this like history context. Anyway, I'm not revealing it. Why though?
No, not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet.
But I'm pumped. I'm starting to like it. I've already started like spitballing how I want to write my character story.
I love it. You'll probably be next, by the way. So
awesome. I'm down.
All right. So that's it. That's the Brax in a nutshell.
Yes.
Hope you guys liked it. Remember, we are only 1 week away from season 1 or episode 1 of season 2.
Yeah.
There's a lot of numbers.
It's with volume 2. We need to just like assume that when everyone who's listening right now understands we're talking about volume 2.
Yeah, I try not to say volume 2 anymore, honestly. Like unless I'm referring to something that happens in volume 1 specifically, I don't even like reference volumes at all. I try not to anyways. So
I feel like this season, does that work?
Yeah, I like this season.
Yeah.
So I feel like calling it volume such and such just muddies the waters a bit. So yeah. So this new season comes out in 1 week. A week from today, because
holy moly,
this episode,
guys, I can't wait.
This character episode releases on Friday, the 16th, and
the Brax history,
Friday the 16th, and then episode 1 of the new season will be Friday the 23rd. So,
dude, it's so much fun, guys.
It is.
That first recording session was a blast.
It was really fun, and it was so different than what I expected,
dude.
You know, I'm super excited. I've already got 2 episodes edited from Ryan and sent back to me, and so it's.
What's he think?
He said episode 2 is the funniest episode we've ever done.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, I don't remember episode 2.
I'm like, I'm trying to remember it in my head.
It's like I kind of know, but I don't remember. But he said it's the funniest one, hands down. I said, okay, cool. So yeah. Anywho, I'm as you can tell, we're very excited for you to hear it. Just 1 more week. I hope you guys enjoyed this deep dive into the Brax. And remember, we got even more deep history dives coming for future races. So
I can't wait to start talking about this stuff in the bonus podcast.
I know. Oh, and
it's been so hard. Reid.
It's been very hard.
Like because everything's on the table in the bonus podcast,
I know.
And I can't talk about what's going on right now.
But for those of you who are backers on Patreon, we would have our Q&A this Sunday, but we're going to push it back a week so that we can talk about episode 1 with you guys.
Yeah.
Because it'll come out, we'll have our Q&A with the patrons 2 days after the premiere of season 2. So
we got something to talk about.
So we have something to talk about. Anywho, like I said, that's going to do it. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed it. My name is Reid. I make this thing and write some stuff. And next to me is Josh.
And may your journey always be met with fire and blood. I don't know. It got really dark. I didn't mean to. Is the Brax
the death of all parents?
The Brax are dark. Sorry, everybody.
I don't know. Okay, we're just gonna end it. Thank you, guys.
Fire and blood.